Today's headline is Idolatry in San Francisco. It says, among the singular anomalies the present age is called upon to witness is the inauguration of idol worship on the Pacific shore of this great republic, in the midst of a Christian community. The occurrence is fraught with interesting, if not painful, reflection. Whether the liberty of conscience which is guaranteed to us all in the Constitution ever contemplated such a profanation, and whether a people recognizing the sovereign claims of the one true God upon them and their relations as a state, evince advancement or recession in its toleration, are questions which we leave for the causes to determine. We have nothing to do but to consider the fact as it is, premising that there is always enough of intolerance in the human heart to make it overprone to strike down that of which it constitutes itself the judge, without arming it with theoretical arguments for prosecuting that which will agree in pronouncing wrong. That idolatry has been allowed quietly to rear itself within a Christian city is perhaps a subject for political congratulation. How it is calculated to affect the community morally and spiritually is not for us to decide. A San Francisco paper thus relates the story. The inauguration of idolatrous services in this city has attracted much notice and produced no little sensation. The name of the deity whose worship has been introduced is not Josh, as reported by some of the papers, nor Shangtai, which is the name denoting supreme ruler by which the missionaries in China render the word of God. We have learned from an educated Chinaman that the deity whose worship has been here introduced is Kwangti, the patron deity of the present dynasty in China and of the imperialist army. In the Oriental of June 2, 1855, we find a full description of this deity. Instead of worshipping the Chinese Jupiter, the nation has resorted to a protection of another deity. Kwangti was a distinguished warrior of the Han Dynasty about the commencement of the Christian era. His fidelity and friendship to the emperor, in whose service he was engaged, were remarkable. He perished in captivity at the age of 42. After his death, he was deified on account of his wonderful virtues. He was selected as the patron god of the present Manchu dynasty, and wonderful deliverances and victories are ascribed to him. In consideration of these and other miraculous interferences during the present war, the emperor has decreed that the god Kwangti shall receive new honors and new titles. He is henceforth to be worshipped with the same honors that are paid to the highest deities. A new order has been established, entitled the Order of Performers, to pay the worship to the idol of the spring and autumn sacrifices. We learned from the Reverend Mr. Shuck, missionary among the Chinese at Sacramento, that the recent festival in this city is not one of the established observances, but an occasional one, such as is common in China. From their choice of this god to worship here, it is plain that the Chinese of the company introducing this worship sympathize with the imperialists. It is well known that the Chinese are in this state organized into companies, with their buildings and agencies. The Shi Yup Company embraced in the state about 10,000 members. They constructed their buildings on Pine Street in 1854, but they delayed the present rights in order to obtain furniture, and we presume also permission to worship, for the members of the Order of Performers are required to pay a sum equivalent to $74 to entitle them to perform the ceremonies. In entering the building on Pine Street, we found a simple front with a tablet containing the name of the company and the day of the erection of the building, which was put up by voluntary subscriptions. Going on through irregular brick passages to the rear of the building, we found another building fronting the bay, which is of beautiful style and dimensions. The lower room is for reception, containing ranges of seats and a few tables, the furniture being of the richest kind. Above is the temple. In the back part of a room about 20 by 40 feet is an alcove containing the idol, a Chinese figure of a 20 color, with elaborate and glossy beard, and of full size. The right hand of the idol is raised as if it's speaking. The body and limbs are gaudily ornamented with gilt carving and a mosaic of small mirrors. The alcove and the altar, or table, in front are ornamented with carvings of figures and groups not known in art classics. On either side of the idol, and around the walls, as well as suspended from the ceiling, are painted boards and silk-covered frames, containing inscriptions said to be taken from the writings of Confucius. The worship, which we did not witness, is said to have consisted of music, the burning of incense, the spreading out of roasted pigs, and dishes of fruit, and tea upon tables before the image, and various inflections and rites by the performers, who were robed in long dresses. Dishes of tea yet stand before the idol, and reeds or sticks of dried wood are kept slowly burning in an urn. Flowers and preserved or waxed fruits yet remain in the room. The dedication of the house was a part of the public ceremony. Thus we have idolatry exercised in our midst. It should excite only mournful feeling at the degradation of human beings, and the desire and effort to enlighten them to the knowledge of Him, who dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worshipped by men's hands, as though He needed anything, seeing He giveth to all life, breath, and all things. This story came from the great state of Virginia, being reported in the Alexandria Gazette and Virginia Advertiser of September 24th, 1856. Thank you for joining us today. If you want to continue to uncover all of America's lost and forgotten history, then remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.